Hi everyone, this is Armin Ellis from Exploration Institute. Earlier today, I was able to have a conversation with Angela Lamont, the project director for a Kickstarter campaign and a space mission called Lunar Mission One. Angela, thank you very much for joining us today. Really appreciate the time that you took out of your very busy day to tell us about Lunar Mission One.
Well, thank you. We're glad you're interested in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Would love to start by asking you, could you just give us a little bit of a background to how the mission got started, what the ideas were, and what are you generally trying to do?
Okay, well, the mission got started about 7 years ago, quietly. There's been a lot of quiet planning going on for all those years to take a mission to the moon, to land around the south pole of the moon, where there's plenty of sunlight so that we can use solar panels, and to drill a lot further than anyone has ever drilled before. So on the moon, people have only reached a depth of about 2 meters. And of course, on the surface, you can't be sure you're getting real moon. You may be getting rocks that have been deposited on the moon, and the surface is all irradiated by the sun anyway. So we're going to drill down to a minimum depth of 20 meters. And then if we get to 20 meters and the going's still good, we're going to keep going. And the maximum we can go to is 100 meters. So we want to look at that moon rock, if you like, that's 4.5 billion years old. That's as old as the moon, and try to learn a lot more about the moon and about the Earth and about the rest of the solar system from there. Now, at the same time, if we're drilling, we decided that we would put something back. And so we have 2 archives going into the moon. There's going to be a public archive, which is going to be an archive of life on Earth. So a library of species, if you like, and plant life, but also of culture and technology. And then on the other hand, there's going to be private archives. So this is the fun bit of the mission, if you like. You can buy your own digital time capsule and put in it whatever you think should be preserved for up to 1 billion years, whether that's your family tree or photos you've taken or a piece of music you've written, or your own classification of what's the most important things about life on Earth to you. And we're finding it a really exciting mission, and we hope that everybody else is too.
Well, that sounds amazing. So you have both a personal reason to do this, and also you have a scientific curiosity reason to fund and back your mission.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So how does the funding actually work for the overall mission?
Well, the first phase is Kickstarter funded. So we realized that no matter what space agencies you're looking at around the world, their funding is squeezed pretty tightly. And we wondered if it was time for a big, serious crowd-funded project. We did some market research. The market research said, yes, everyone out there is ready to get really properly involved in a mission. But we didn't know until we tried it. And on our announcement day, on the 19th of November, we were absolutely overwhelmed by the amount of both press interest and people just getting in touch with us and saying, what an absolutely brilliant idea, and we support you. So the idea for Lunar Mission One is to get as many people on board with the mission as early in the mission as we can. Mm-hmm. So if you think about the Rosetta mission that everyone's still talking about, that mission had been going for 10 years, but the comet is so far away, a lot of that was dormant time. So some people woke up to the mission when Rosetta caught up with 67P back in the summer and went with the mission from there. But a lot of people didn't catch that mission until those 2 or 3 days of excitement when the Philae lander was sent down, until it ran out of battery power. And a lot of people were thinking, well, that was so exciting. I'm ready to do that again, but this time I'm ready to do it for the long haul and actually go on a mission with these guys. And that's very much our mission. We want to be extremely collaborative completely, truly global. So we want people from all over the world. Already we have over 60 countries, or rather people in 60 countries participating. And listen to them and take them along with us. So it's a truly collaborative mission. So the funding is collaborative. We're relying on donations from the public. And also the archive is going to be collaborative in two ways. There will be discussions about what goes in the public archive, and then everyone will participate in their own way in the private archives, whether solo, if you just want your own archive, or you can imagine that schools may decide to link up with other schools around the world and do a collaborative effort there as well.
Okay, so the first phase is just for the study of the mission. It's kind of like how typical NASA missions are done, where you have a phase A, phase B, and so on.
Yeah.
What's the duration of the first phase?
So the first phase is going to be a matter of months. So we have done a lot of planning over the last 7 years, but now we need to go through it with a fine-tooth comb, and we need to put those plans into action. So this is the setup phase. We need to get these teams set up so that we can do the bulk of the work, because we've made do on a skeleton staff and doing things spread over a period of time. This money will enable us to actually set up the teams who will be working on the mission and put them into action.
Okay, so will you be going from crowd-funded phase A to a second crowdfunding round straight away, or is this something that you're hoping to get maybe sponsors or other sources of funds for?
We will be sourcing multiple types of funding, but the crowdsourced type funding, the donations, will be very much encouraged all the way along. We don't know if in the short 1 month Kickstarter period we can reach all those people who want to come on the mission with us from the public. So we are very much going to keep that open throughout the duration of the mission, and people can come on board when they find us. We've got a very enthusiastic bunch who are on board right now as the sort of the founder Lunar Missions Club members, if you like. But we certainly do want to keep that going. Because it's such a collaborative mission, that bit is very important to us. So yes, we will seek other forms of funding as well, but the public donations are very important to us for more than just the money's sake.
So one of the things that's quite astonishing about Lunar Mission One is the amount of support that you have from well-known individuals. How did that come about?
Well, you can imagine that with the project being in planning for 7 years, although we managed to keep it secret in the big scheme of things, we had to talk to an awful lot of people. And we've managed to talk to and get on board an awful lot of really good, serious scientists and people who have a lot of mission experience. So, for example, there are a fair amount of the Rosetta team who are involved in this as well. People belonging to institutions like the Open University, who you probably saw widely if you were watching the Rosetta mission. And Rutherford Appleton Laboratories are our technical advisors, and they have over 200 missions worth of experience. So by getting organizations like this involved, you necessarily make contacts, and luckily when people hear about this project, they seem to take it to their hearts, which is great.
Okay, that's fantastic. Do you feel that this is maybe one of those new ways that exploration activities could be done in the future, going out for crowdfunding?
Yeah, well, obviously we watched with interest the Arcid Space Telescope project last year. They got, in fact, $1.5 million of the $1 million they asked for. And it was a very popular project indeed. So we watched that with interest, and it did seem that the public were ready to get involved on two levels, on a financial level and on an engagement level. And that's what we really wanted and needed for this project.
Outstanding. Do you have any advice for other groups who may be interested in creating a crowdfunding project for their exploration activities?
Yeah, I mean, you do have to plan really well. I'm glad this has been in the planning for 7 years, because as soon as you open a Kickstarter, there are so many questions that you need the answer to. What you can't do is take a project to the public and just say, hey, let's go to the moon, let's put it on Kickstarter. Because you need that confidence level that this mission is going to work. And luckily, because we have got this expertise on board, Rutherford Appleton Laboratories and UCL and the Open University and lots of other quite major players in the space and space science arena, that I think gives people a high level of confidence that we know what we're doing and that we are getting good advice on what we're doing. And we're very keen that remains the case, and that's why we're setting up these teams with the Kickstarter funding. So my advice to people going out for Kickstarter is it has to be gone with a fine-tooth comb before you even think of going on Kickstarter, so that you can feed that interest, so that you have the answers for the people when they're asking various questions. Obviously, we don't have all the answers, else we wouldn't be doing the mission. We don't know exactly what those cores from the moon are going to show us, and that's one of the points of going.
So you've raised a lot of the money pretty rapidly, and it,
yeah, we're running at about $700,000 right now. Yeah. And over 5,000 backers from over 60 countries all around the world.
That's just outstanding, and you're obviously on the right trajectory. So are there any messages you'd like to leave for people watching this video now who are interested in backing you up right now, and any other sort of encouragements you'd like to give them?
Well, obviously we don't have long left on the Kickstarter. Personally, I think to be a founder member of the Lunar Missions Club is a really important thing for me. A lot of other people have said it's so good to be in at the beginning. And we are going on Kickstarter regularly, making sure we're in contact with everybody. And we've got this lovely community going. Everyone's interacting not just with us, but with each other and encouraging each other. And they're all forming ways of how can we go and get this project better known. And it's just absolutely great. They are part of the team. So I would say to people, if you're ready for that with a space mission, if you are ready to not just switch on the TV and watch a launch and have a few hours of excitement from watching a mission, but if you're ready to get on board and get into conversation with people, we have some amazing supporters already who are talented in all sorts of fields and fields that we may well be grateful of during the mission, not just scientists and stuff, but people who are talented in all sorts of areas, because our archive is going to cover everything on Earth. If you feel like interacting with a bunch of people like that, then this is the mission for you. So I think it's a first. I don't know of any other mission that's been able to be so interactive from the beginning and intends to be so interactive right the way through. So when the Kickstarter ends, we will be setting up a proper online community for all our supporters so that they can continue to interact with each other. And then as the mission progresses, of course, we will have things coming online like the time capsules. And then people can start discussions about what's going in their time capsule. And you can choose to keep your time capsule private or whether you want to share details with others. So there's going to be all kinds of conversations to have. And that's the message. If that sounds good to you, then Lunar Mission One is the mission for you.
Angela, it's actually really inspiring that we live in an age where we can do this. Where we can.
If previous missions had the social media that we have now, it might have been possible earlier, but we can benefit from this. So it's absolutely great to have everybody along with us. It also means that because we have an accompanying education program, we can make that truly global too. And we're going to be running an outreach program to every part of the world we can possibly reach, and also parts of the world that aren't currently reached by the internet very well. We're going to be looking at actually extending internet access to places that don't currently have it, to increase this global collaboration and to make sure that our education program gets as far out into the world as it possibly can. So there's another area of interest as well, the education side of things, because again, it's not just a STEM project. It's also the arts as well because of the archive. So that's going to be one very interesting education project we have too.
Outstanding. Just to ask a little bit about your background, how did you get involved in this project? It's an incredibly exciting position to be the Lunar Mission One director. So what's your story?
Well, we're a multidisciplinary team. There's a trust as well as the Lunar Missions Limited company. So it's important to say this is absolutely a non-profit mission. If we raise more money than is needed, then that will go to the Lunar Missions Trust to fund future inspirational space science projects, or rather space exploration and science projects. So we have a spread of trustees and also Lunar Mission Limited directors. And we all have our specialisms. So for me, I started out in IT. And from IT, I was asked to do the Faraday lectures, which I don't know if they're widely known in the States, but it's a lecture series in the UK, which celebrates the work of Michael Faraday and was run by the IEE, which is now the IET, which is the British equivalent of the IEEE, I guess you could say. And from there, I went on to a science presenting career at the BBC, at the BBC Science Unit on the radio, and also doing science programs on television and with the Open University too. So I spent 8 years making science programs, and I'm more of a science generalist. So on the team, as you can imagine, we have lots and lots of specialists who know their field intensely. I am on the team for more of the public engagement and education side. And so for that reason, I'm a science generalist looking at all aspects of the mission, not just the space science aspects, but also both of the archives and, as I said, the education program too.
Outstanding. Well, thank you very much for taking time for this interview, Angela. Really appreciate it. And I'd like to encourage everyone to participate in this Kickstarter campaign, Lunar Mission One. And you just Google that in, and the Kickstarter campaign will be the first on the list, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're getting really good coverage, and we've got over 60 countries involved so far. I'm looking forward to the number of flags on our little graphic on the Kickstarter page increasing, because we're hoping to reach out to all corners of the world. So we're hoping YouTube will help us do that, and we'd really like to say thank you for your interest. It's really great to be able to chat with you about this project, and I hope a lot of people find it interesting and feel like coming and joining us.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Angela.
You're very welcome.
I hope you enjoyed that interview. If you'd like to see more content like it, please go to our website and subscribe to our newsletter. Also, if you'd like to support Angela Lamont's Lunar Mission One project, a link is provided right under this video where you can go on their Kickstarter campaign and hopefully participate. Thanks for watching.